Hello, everyone. I woke up, I took communion this morning, because I think for me specific, it's just it's a reminder, and there's nothing, in fact, that we can compare to this event, what Jesus did for us on the cross. So I was thinking about like all the good times that we have, during Christmas and all that. But I just thought of the cross and was like, yo, this is it. Jesus actually did it. We wouldn't be here. Maybe look at if you're married, look at the person next to you. You wouldn't have that person without Jesus. So so it's interesting. So I'm talking about the cross. Wow. There are many things. I guess I became so emotional because my mind was just going around, the stuff that Jesus Christ actually did on the cross. So I think Pastor Vic has actually preached on this. When the Israelites, they went to war, but they didn't like God, at that moment. So they went to war, and they knew that they were going to be defeated, so they decided that they're going to take the Ark of God to the war. They were fighting against the Philistines, am I right? I'm right, yes. I knew what I was talking about, but pronouncing the word, I come from the other side of this country. Yeah, so they were scared, but when they got the Ark, they started praising, shouting God. It was amazing that even the enemy was wondering what was happening. And what happened is that they believed that God was going to fight for them because that's what happened before. The Ark of God was never captured. So what happened was that, so they went to war and they were defeated to a point that the very thing that they placed their hope on was taken away from them, which was the Ark of God, right? Okay, when I pray, guys, I can go crazy, like just move around, like, So I'm just warning you, I can just, start praising. So anyway, so what happened was that they took the Ark of God. It has never happened in Israel. The Ark of God has never been taken away from them because it was the very thing that led them. So when they will be going to take over different places, the priest will have the Ark of God in front of all the congregation as they march forward, right? So now, for the first time, the Ark of God is taken away. But there's something that's very interesting because you can see that they got to a point where they helpless. And obviously they're blaming themselves. I don't know if you're in that point. And in fact, most of the times we say, you're helpless, but we really don't describe you removing your skin, removing your bones, and seeing what's in your heart. Because honestly, most of us, we're not even born within ourselves. We are foreigners to ourselves. Everything is just fused by emotions. Most of us, we cannot even access our hearts because we confuse our hearts with emotions. The biggest thing that's standing between us and God, it's emotions, right? Because this is what I've noticed with myself is that when something happens, guess what happens? I know my mind is supposed to regulate my emotions. But now my mind doesn't have strength. So it's overwhelmed by what? By emotions. So the very emotions that are supposed to be controlled by my mind are the same emotions that are controlling my mind. Because the only strength that can actually help your mind is the Holy Spirit. I remember, I think I wrote a song. So it says, there's a revival in my upper room. This is your upper room. If you don't have the Holy Spirit here, no revival. So anyway, so most of us, we helpless inside. The very things that we place our hope on are the very things that are being taken away from us. Maybe that's your girlfriend, And I know sometimes we talk about these things, but when you go home, that's like your home, When you go home, that pain is like your home. It's always raining outside, we can find shelter. Where do you find your shelter when it's always raining inside of you? Right? So most of us, we cannot even walk within ourselves. So now what happens? I'm looking at the time. Come on, time, be on my side. So the ark is taken away. But something interesting, what God does is that He gets to the territory of the enemy. Because they could stop the attack, but they were not stopping the source of the attack. That's why when the ark of God got to the temple of their God, that means the very thing that they placed their hope on. Right? So when they wake up, because the ark of God is with their foreign God, their God is down. God was now dealing with the foundation. That's exactly what happened with the disciples, because they were scared. Jesus did these miracles, walk upon water. Imagine you there. I mean, Jesus was good. He did amazing things. And next thing, everything will be fine. Now on the cross like that. So they were hopeless because everything was taken away from them. And maybe you like, I'm defeated. Why do you fight? Would you fight if you knew that you were not going to win? Right? So we fight because we know that we're going to win. But most of us, we are defeated. I want to tell you something. Sometimes with God, victory doesn't come while you're fighting, but it comes when you're defeated. That's what happened with the disciples. That's what happened with the disciples. They were defeated, but they didn't know that Jesus was dealing with the source, which is the sin. Like the ark of God being in the territory of the enemy. So Christ was in, Jesus was like, boss, man. Is in the boxing ring of Satan. That's where Satan trained. Jesus gets to the stage. He beats him in his own in his own ring, because Jesus is in darkness. He's walking in darkness. So while the disciples were helpless, Christ was dealing with something that they didn't even understand was the problem. And I love, if you think about Peter is now, because he has denied Jesus, and probably is thinking of what he has done to Jesus. And Jesus says, no, my actions defeated your actions. So my actions now define you. It's not more about the consequences of your actions. Now it's about the consequences of what? My actions. So if you allow what Christ did for you, define yourself with that. Start defining yourself within you with what Christ did. So I hope you will be able to start walking with you with victory. Thank you.